And welcome everyone. This is our ACF meeting for the month of November. My grandson's with me here tonight. This is Itsuki Langley. He's from Osaka, and he came to live with my wife and I in summer of 2019. And he's a connoisseur, so to speak, of ramen.
So I'm born in Japan and I grew up there, so I used to eat lots of ramen. So I just decided to I want to make my real ramen. Pretty difficult to make. But if it's good ramen, I would drink all the broth.
I've been doing a lot of research on ghost kitchens, is how it kind of intrigued me. And a ghost kitchen is a kitchen that really doesn't have a restaurant in front of the house. There's no dining room. There are no places for people to go and sit. And you can actually create ghost kitchens out of your own restaurant. There's a company out there that does that. Say if you had 5 Asian dishes on your menu, you could create a ghost kitchen with an Asian name. There'd be an online ordering app. People would order food and out the back door to Uber, and it would go somewhere. So it's a possibility to create other restaurants under their own name. Over the course of the past couple years, we've been working to create perfect ramen, Osaka-style ramen. I'm going to show the basics of making the ramen stock, which takes about 20 hours to cook in traditional style. At the end of the season, I use my lobster cookers for cooking ramen. What I want to do before I get started is to kind of talk about some of the ingredients that we use. For the stock, I use pork and chicken bones, even though we're going to make tonkatsu, which is a pork ramen, but the chicken carcasses add a real flavor to this. And when I make this in large batches, I use a case of chicken bones, which are 40 pounds, and a case of pig trotters. This is called kombu, which is Japanese seaweed. And my grandson was telling me that you have to have kombu in there for the flavor, and it helps provide the umami flavor. And what I did was I've been soaking this kombu in the water. This is what it looks like when it's soaked, and that's going to be the base for my stock after I blanch my bones. Dried shiitakes, also sort of a traditional stock. There's onions, carrots, we've got some ginger, garlic, and the traditional recipes all call for green onions, scallions. The telltale sign of a good stock, it's got to be a creamy white. In order to do that, you have to blanch the bones, rinse them in cold water, and then cook them again from there. One of the other key things we'll talk about is toppings. These are marinated eggs, cooked for 7 minutes, cooled down quickly, so that the egg on the inside is still soft. It's a little bit more of a soft-boiled egg. And then they are marinated in mirin and soy sauce. And they are absolutely fabulous. These are really addictive. And then other toppings will be some nori seaweed sheets and scallions and bean sprouts. I'm going to move off to the pork. So pork for ramen is called chashu. So we buy pork belly with the skin off. Pork belly has become one of my favorite things. It's really delicious. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got a high degree of fat. And what I learned really from my grandson, the secret to good ramen is really the fat that's in the bowl. The fat is what sticks to the noodle, and when you slurp it, and you have to slurp, it's good manners, that's where the flavor is. So I was taught a really long time ago. I took meat cutting when I was in school back at the tech center where I went to in Vermont. This is a nice knot that only cinches one way, and you make an X. I don't know if you can look right over the top of my hands if you've never done this before. Then we circle this around, pull it through with your fingers. I was teaching this the other day. It'll only tighten one way, so you can cinch it up and then pull it down. And then this is very important to tighten this down in there pretty hard, because it helps keep its shape on the inside. There's a sauce that goes with this. and it is made with mirin, soy sauce, sake, garlic, ginger, and some sugar. And then it gets braised in this, cooked in this, and then you don't throw the sauce out after you're done when it's braised, because it will become the sauce that we brush on the pork. All right, so this is what it looks like when it's done. I actually am going to cut it. This is one that I had cooked previously, and that sauce that's on that gives it a nice brown color, and then you can see that it's rolled up here like that. So this is what you'll end up working with. My grandson is quick to point out to me that you want your pork to be very, very thin. Ramen itself is really kind of simple. It's noodles and broth and this, but the broth piece of this is pretty labor intensive. So here's what the pork looks like. And then it's been brushed with some of the chashu sauce. What we would do is we just kind of brush this on. That's the soy sauce, mirin, sake, garlic, and ginger. And then we're going to pop this in the oven. Okay, there's a term called tare, T-A-R-E. And when you go to a ramen shop and you could get miso ramen, spicy ramen, tonkatsu ramen, and there's lots of different choices on the menu. They put two things that I've seen that they put in the bottom of the bowl. One is a pretty healthy ladle of pork fat that's in another pan, and some seasoning in the bottom. We're going to use soy sauce. I've learned, although I wasn't really aware of, that it matters what kind of soy sauce.
Soy sauce has many soy sauces that specify something, like especially like, for example, like sushi has like special soy sauce for that. Then that's actually tastes quite a bit different than regular soy sauce. But we're just gonna use regular soy sauce for it tonight.
You want to put a little soy sauce in the bottom of each one of those. Move the bowls up to the front. Towards the. Okay. These are made in Chinatown, I believe, in Boston. They are absolutely fabulous. These noodles are made a little differently than regular noodles. They have a chemical sodium bicarbonate that's put into the noodle dough so that it doesn't get soggy and it doesn't absorb. This is what they would use to cook these in big vats of boiling water. Put that in there, stir it around, and then pull them out. There's quite a bit to the show. You know, they kind of do this behind the line there, with a lot of drains on the floor. There's quite a bit of artistry and showmanship to this. Okay, I think our noodles are done. They take very little time. Just gonna kind of strain these by hand. We'll put the hot stock over the top of it. Bean sprouts. This is tonkatsu ramen, and I hope you enjoy your ramen.
Hope to see you guys at the next meeting in December. But for this one, guys, we're going to sign off before the steam stops coming up off these bowls. Got to eat it while the getting's good. So we'll see you guys next month. Thanks so much for joining.